Street racing. What a cool hobby. You can mix and match your vehicle in your way. You could change the bumpers, the wheels, you could change the paint or wrap it, change the engine to a 2JZ, you could add some nitrous, you could change everything about a car to your life. Believe it or not, this hobby was huge in the early 2000s. Of course, thanks to Fast and Furious and movies like that, customizing and changing your own car became cool. It could turn out cringy or cool. It all depends on what you do to your car. You prioritize speed, looks, I don't know, drifting. I mean, you could even put slicks on a car and take it out to the track. You can do a lot with a car. People view cars as just a transportation that takes you from A to B. Some people see cars as a thing of beauty. It all just depends on people's perspective. But anyway, enough about real life cars. We're here to talk about video games. Now, like I said before, Fast and Furious has a huge role to play in this. Like I said, the import tuner scene was big in the early 2000s when it comes to Supras, R33s, NSXs, RX-7s, Subarus. I think you get the point by now. Because this thing was so big back in the day, and granted, it's big now, but it's not as big as it used to be. But because it got huge in the early 2000s, of course it spawned a bunch of video games. Some bad, some good. We're going to talk about it. Now here's how each game is going to be sort of, I guess, categorized. All the games that we're going to be talking about is from the PlayStation 2 era. I know that sounds kind of weird, but we're primarily going to be looking at arcade street racing. Of course, if you want more realistic experience, you could play, modern street racing games like GTA 5 or, I don't know, Car Club, Gran Turismo, stuff like that. But me personally, I like the cringy early 2000s stuff. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the best street racing game that came out during the PlayStation 2 era. Now what we're going to be looking at is, of course, gameplay, customization. This is kind of weird, but music, I feel like music has a good role to play when it comes to street racing games. And just like at Midnight Club, you get a nice variety. You got hip-hop, rock, techno, and we are also going to be looking at car selection. I want to see if it has a nice mix of JDM, German, European, I don't know, supercars. Well, small amount of supercars that existed during the early 2000s. I think you will get the point by now. Enough rambling. Let's just get started. Alright, Street Racing Syndicate. Now, I'll be honest, I got this game recently, and in first impressions, this game is actually pretty good. The car selection is decent, and I would say one thing that sticks out about this game is that you can get different types of cars. So when you buy an R34 GTR in the game, you don't just get to buy an R34 GTR. You can buy a Nismo one, you can buy one with a wide body kit, you can buy different versions of cars. And when you buy your first car in the game, you can truly feel a difference, whether it's stock or modded. Obviously, if it's stock, it's going to have a low amount of horsepower, but I don't know, if you add turbos and engine swaps and stuff like that, there's also going to be a huge difference when it comes to speed. I honestly like that when it comes to small details like that in games. It obviously tries to give a realistic experience. Well, as realistic as the PS2 can get, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, for the most part, I'd say Street Racing Syndicate is a very, I'd say, mid-tier game. And one other thing that I would like to mention is wagers are sort of a big thing in this game. Like, whenever you start a race, you pick out somebody that you want to beat, put some money up against them, and if you win it, you obviously win your money and more. It's kind of weird that this game has a gambling system, but it's street racing. What do you expect? But yeah, this game is pretty decent. I would say one thing that throws me off is to sort of explain it, there's this side quest in the game where you win races to date chicks in the game. And yeah, that's fucking weird. Now, obviously, if you win the date, you get special videos in the game, but it was the early 2000s. It was a different time. And yeah, this is just weird. But then again, this is also a side quest, so you don't really have to do it. But there's also a tutorial mission, so be careful there. I guess don't play this game around children, I guess. I don't know. Besides that shit, this game is decent. It has a great amount of cars. Get a good mix of, German, JDM, all that good stuff. Would I recommend picking this up? I would say yes. You get a decent, street racing experience. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for Street Racing Syndicate. On to the next one.
Rated T for teen.
I'm a street racer. I put everything I had into my ride. I never lost. Everyone wanted to roll with me, watch my back. Then I made a bet with some punk online racing for pinks. Now I made one stupid mistake, and everything I built, gone. But I ain't losing again. Now I'm coming for your ride.
Build it, race it, put it all on the line. Juiced.
THQ.
Well, alright, Juiced. Now, I'll say Juiced is very similar to Street Racing Syndicate. It just has a few differences. For one, I think Juiced is a lot more of an arcade experience compared to Street Racing Syndicate, and the car selection in this game is a lot. You get a wide variety of stuff, and of course, like I said before, you could always customize it, put on some weird bumpers, some underglow, whatever. And I would say one thing that extremely dates this game is when you pick out your character, you get to pick out your cell phone. That's right. See, this is why I picked out games from the PS2 generation, because I love little shit like this. I know that some of this may be useless, people may not like it, but me personally, I love it. Now, the music is kind of, it's not the best. I'd be honest, if you decide to pick up this game, just put the music on mute. It's not that good. But yeah, that's Juiced. I guess on to the next racing game.
Rockstar Games presents Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition coming April 12th to Xbox and PlayStation 2, rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
Alright, now how can I mention Street Racing games without mentioning Midnight Club 3? In my opinion, this is one of the best Street Racing games out there. Well, at least for the time. I mean, the amount of customization, the music, the free roam, there's a lot involved with this game. Let's talk about it. First off, now I know free roam, at least to me, doesn't really matter, but in Midnight Club 3, you get 3 cities to explore. San Francisco, Atlanta, and Detroit. I believe in Dub Edition Remix you also get Tokyo. Just imagine this, just, riding around Tokyo in your JDM car, hearing the music play. I mean, look at what you're listening to right now. This is the game's theme song. I love this game. But I mean, hey, I'm not picking favorites. Juiced has its moments, Street Racing Syndicate has its moments, and the few games that I'm going to talk about later on has its moments as well, but me personally, I love this game. Now, the downsides, the difficulty. This game is extremely difficult. One bad turn or you hit a car, you're done. It's over. This game is extremely difficult. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can also drive bikes in this game. Don't think any other Street Racing game allows you to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet with Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. I believe I've said my points. I could talk about this game all day if I wanted to. Hell, I'm probably going to release a review on this game, but I think that's enough for Midnight Club 3. On to the next game.
Own the night. Need for Speed Underground. Rated E for everyone. Challenge everything.
Well, alright, the game that kind of started it all. I mean, I believe this game released at the right place at the right time. I believe the Fast and Furious movie came out like a couple days or a couple weeks right before this game came out. So this game spawned, I'd say, most of the Street Racing games for the PS2. And I gotta be honest, Need for Speed Underground is kinda hard to return to. And don't get me wrong, I like the iconic soundtrack. Yeah, obviously I can't play the full thing, otherwise I might get a copyright claim, but you get what I'm saying. I like the soundtrack. The soundtrack has really grown on me over the past 20 years or so, but I find that the game itself is just hard to come back to. It's similar to Midnight Club 3, where it's difficult, but it's not really that fun. Like with Midnight Club 3, it's difficult, but I feel like if I can get through it, it's going to be rewarding. With the Need for Speed Underground, I generally get that same feeling. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But anyway, enough about this game. Let's move on to its sequel, which is a lot different.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Need for Speed Underground 2. Now, in my opinion, this is a decent street racing game. It has, I would say, the corny storyline to it. It obviously continues from Underground 1. Obviously, in Underground 1, you win the storyline, but of course, there's a car accident. Then in Underground 2, you start all over from the beginning. That's just the basic storyline structure, and yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the story in Underground 2. But the cars and the amount of customization really does it for me with this game. I would say it's very similar to Midnight Club 3 when it comes to customization and stuff like that. Of course, you get a wide variety of cars, except I'd say with Underground 2, get a good mix of everything. With SUVs, JDM, European, German, even got a few exotics in there. I'd say Underground 2 was pretty decent for the most part. Alright, ladies and gents, I'd say that's it. We took a look at a bunch of street racing games from the PS2 era, and at the end of the day, pick up what you want, but me personally, I'm still a huge fan of Midnight Club 3. Don't get me wrong, Street Racing Syndicate and Juice, they have their moments. Underground 1 and 2, so they're good games, but for me personally, I definitely prefer Midnight Club 3. That's it for me. It's what I grew up with back in the day. It's best graphically, decent music choice, a bunch of cars, detailed customization. Midnight Club 3 does it for me. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, pick up what you want. If it's possible, I would recommend getting an old PS2 and try out one of these games. But if you can't get the real thing, do it through emulation. But I would heavily prefer you get the real thing. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and tell me down below. What's your favorite car? Tell me down in the comments. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Look at that. That is the face of a man who would fuck my wife and call me a racial slur.